Hello students, welcome back to the online sessions of the subject known as Material Science and Metallurgy. Myself Vivek Parikh taking the lectures on your heat treatment of the steels. Till now we have discussed about the different types of the heat treatment processes of the bulk methods, that are annealing, normalizing and hardening. We have gone through the things. Clear? So now in that bulk formation method, the one more method which is left, that is known as a tempering method, which we will be discussing in our today's lecture. So now let us discuss what do you mean by the tempering. Before going that thing, let us recall the hardening method. What do you mean by the hardening thing? We are knowing about the hardening method that we are going for the rapid cooling of the material. So what will happen? The hardness, maximum hardness we are getting. Due to that maximum hardness, what will be the effect? There is a machinability which is less. Over here you can see the graph over here. You can see over here that we are getting this type of the hardening method. Hardening is always followed by the tempering method. You can see from here till this portion is known as a hardening portion, whereas the portion behind this, that is known as a tempering method. You can see over here tempering region. Why? Because in a hardening, what you get? You always get the one of the property, that is the hardness is only getting in the hardening method. To remove that sum of the hardness and to get the different properties, except that hardness, to improve that properties, we will be going for the tempering method. Clear? Now what do you mean by the tempering? Remember one thing, tempering is always followed by the hardening method. The general tempering is always followed after the hardening, and you cannot go for the only hardening method, because your material can anytime fail and you will not be able to recognize when it will fail. Clear? So for that thing, let us discuss the thing that is known as an hardening method. In that tempering, how we are using. Hardened steel are so brittle that even a small impact can fracture. What will be done? So toughness of such steel can be improved with the help of this tempering method. However, there is a small reduction in the strength and hardness. Means your strength and hardness is not drastically changed. Tempering is a subcritical heat treatment used to improve the toughness of the material. Why? Because if you increase the toughness, automatically brittleness will be removed. Clear? The tempering consists of reheating the hardened steel. What does it indicate? Reheating the hardened steel where to below the lower critical temperature. Hold it for some time and then go for the slow cooling in the air, or you can say the room temperature. Now let us recall our figure which we are having, that how we are using this thing. You can see this is your upper AC1 temperature. You can see this is the line. There will be only change in your microstructure if you go for the heating of the material in this range. And then if you cool, then whatever the region where your graph or line comes, that will be your microstructure. But here in tempering, what we are doing, we are not heating above this line. You can see over here, the tempering is done only up to this temperature. Below this thing, that means what we get in the hardening, we get martensite. So here martensite will remain as it is. But what is the benefit of this method? The major benefit of this method is that we will keep our hardness and strength as it is. Slight reduction of that property is obtained, but with that toughness we are increasing at a very much high level. What will happen? Whatever the carbon or the austenite which is kept inside the material in the hardening, that will be transformed, and due to that transformation your toughness is increased in the material. So that's why we are telling that hardness after hardening method, tempering is always followed. How we are using or how we can use this thing, that let us see how we can go for this thing. So when a fine carbide microstructure to the BCC, where we can use this thing for the cutting tools, take the temperature between 230 to 300. Go for hardening. After hardening, heat the material to 230 to 300 degrees Celsius. If you are using in the case of the shaft, where high strength bolts, all that thing, tempering is done at 300 to 600 degrees. That means there are different, according to the application, different tempering temperatures are kept. So the low temperature tempering, it is carried out at 150 to 250, medium temperature tempering 350 to 450, and high temperature tempering you can see up to 650 we are going. Whereas in annealing, normalizing, hardening, we are going up to 910 degrees Celsius. So that's why here we are not going up to that thing. So no microstructure change will be obtained. If you are going after hardening, you will get a martensite only. If you go after annealing, once again you will get that pearlitic structure only. Clear? So now let us move forward. What is the purpose? The major purpose, the residual stress. From where does this residual stress comes? Due to the rapid cooling, the residual stresses are developed inside a material that can be easily removed. That is why your toughness increases. Second one, ductility is also improved. Toughness, as I told you, the major concept of this tempering is to improve the toughness of the material. As a result, how toughness increases? There will be a reduction in some of the hardness level of the material. And last one, percentage elongation. That means the material will be able to more elongate on its size. So these are the purposes of your tempering methods. So there are two types of the tempering methods which we are going. That is, first one Oss tempering, second one Marr tempering. Let us discuss the Oss tempering method. What do you mean by the Oss tempering method? So Oss tempering is a temperature or heating process for the medium to high carbon ferrous metals. Why? As I told you, bainite, in the earlier sessions we discussed, with the help of the Oss tempering, we will only get the bainitic structure. Let us see in the figure. Once again, go for the heating of the material above your crystallization, or you can say C1 line. Where we have to go for the heating, that is, we will be heating up to this temperature. Now, go for the cooling. Go for the cooling in a bath. First step, heat the material above C1 line. What will happen? It will transform into austenite. Now, take a bath which is kept at certainly below this nose temperature. You should always keep your bath temperature between this range, MS range and this nose range. So over any of the thing, let us take the 300 degrees Celsius we are keeping. So what will happen? Your material, now take that material and keep it inside that bath which is kept at 300. What will happen? The material will start rapidly cooling till 300 degrees Celsius. After that, hold the material for a very long time. So you can see it will enter into the bainitic region. It is kept at that temperature for a very long time, you can see. And after reaching the bainitic structure, allow it to cool slowly in the atmosphere, and as a result what will happen? The structure which you will get, that is known as the bainitic structure. Clear? That is known as your bainitic structure. And this is how the Oss tempering method works. Now, what is the Oss tempering purpose? The only method to get the bainite, that means heating the temperature process, heating the temperature, the material to the temperature in the austenitic range, that is 790 to 915 degree. Quench it in a bath, which is kept up to 260 to 370 degrees Celsius. Held for a very long amount of time, so that your material will transform into bainite and then suddenly cool it in the atmosphere. As I told you, these are the process steps. Heat the material, then second one, that is quenching up to the bath which is kept. Third one, keep that material for a very long time, so bainite region you will get and the bainite structure you get, and lastly cooling in the room temperature. What are the advantages? With the help of the Oss tempering, we get higher ductility, toughness and strength. They are of the very high type. Resistance to the shock, that is also improved. And the last one, that is reduced in the distortion, especially within the parts. Inside the part, whatever there is the distortion are there, that can be avoided with the help of this cost tempering method. Clear? So now we will discuss about the second type of the tempering method, that is known as a Marr tempering method. This method is used for obtaining the martensitic structure. Martensitic structure we will be getting by the help of the Marr tempering method. Whatever the thing you have studied about the hardening and tempering process, when you club both that processes, you will get the Marr tempering process we will be getting it. Clear? What is the purpose? That is the purpose that is to cooling off the material very rapidly so that you will get this type of the method. See over here, you will be knowing that this is the range in which hardening takes place, and up to from that you will get the tempering which is taking place. So the steel which you get, that is of the combination of the hardening and tempering. When done together, the method known as a Marr tempering. So what is the method? Take a sample, heat the material above the range, after that go for the rapid cooling, so that what will happen? Your martensite will get. Allow it for the room temperature, at the room temperature for some time. After some time, heat the material below the C1 line, critical line. Hold it for some time and then cool it slowly. So as I told you, it is a combination of the two methods, hardening and the tempering method, which is applied over here. Clear? So what is this Marr tempering? Let us see the process. Quench the material into the hot fluid medium, or you can say into the martensitic range, that means oil, or you can go for the water and that. Then hold that thing in that quenching medium for some time. So what will happen? The whole thing will convert into martensite. After that, cooling at the moderate rate. So what will happen? To prevent the cracks and all that thing. And lastly, the tempering method we are doing. What are the advantages of this method? It will reduce the cracking. Whatever the cracking defects which are going to occur in the material, that can be minimized with the help of this Marr tempering method. It will reduce residual stress with the help of the tempering which we are applying after that thing. And what will happen? We will get a varying geometry, size or weight, means residual stresses, whatever they are kept in that material, that can be removed. Clear? So this was all about your Marr tempering method. So in the upcoming lectures, we will move forward for the surface hardening method. What we discussed? We have discussed till now about the different hardening method, that is the bulk method we have discussed. There are four types: annealing, normalizing, hardening and tempering. So now in the upcoming lecture, we will discuss the surface hardening method. Till then, thank you.